everyone, welcome to a new video. So I have a stack of 22 books next to me, and this is my stack of shame. So this is all the authors that I have books for but have not read anything from them yet. So to qualify, I have to have at least 3 books from each author, and I haven't read any of them. So at the end of this stack of shame, I'm going to either spin a wheel if I can figure out how to do it. I haven't done it before. Or I'm just gonna draw randomly from a jar, and I'm going to pick 3 of these books to do like a taste test of this author. And then I'll vlog it for you guys so you can see. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I just have 1 book for each author that's going to represent the author instead of showing all of them. So the first one is John Mars, and I chose the 1 because this seems to be his most popular one that everybody talks about. So I have not read this yet, which I know is probably insane because it's so popular. And then I have a few middle grade authors that I have a ton of books for but have not checked out yet. The first one is Mary Downing Hahn. So I have like 10 or 12 of her books, but just haven't gotten to them yet because I don't read middle grade all that often. And then same with K.R. Alexander. I have like a dozen of these because I just love the covers and I keep buying them. But I haven't read any of them yet. Shame on me. And then the last one is Lindsay Curry. I think I have 4 or 5 of these. And then I have about 6 of Frida McFadden's books. This is, again, probably her most popular one, is The Housemaid. I know it's been turned into a trilogy, probably because it's so popular. And I kind of hope this one isn't chosen in the drawing because I actually have another video planned for this, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what the universe says about that. And then we have Hester Fox. I have 3 of her books. She writes kind of like historical fiction, gothic tales. Then we have Blake Crouch, and I know Pines is probably his lesser known book, but honestly it sounds the most interesting to me. Then I have, I think, like 5 Adam Neville books, but again, I just haven't gotten to him yet. But I hear he's amazing, so I really want to read some Adam Neville this year. So hopefully it will get picked in the drawing. This one sounds kind of like a haunted house book, which is my favorite, so this is why I chose this one to represent Adam Neville. Then we have Lydia King, and again, she does kind of gothic historical fiction novels. Wow, I'm dropping it. So I'm excited to get to this one. I think this one has vampires in it, so that could be interesting. Then we have C.J. Cook, and I really want to read The Nesting. It sounds a lot like Ruth Ware's novel, The Turn of the Key, and so I loved that book, and so I'm hoping to get the same vibes from this book. Then we have Jessie Q. Sutanto. I have 2 adult novels and then 2 YA novels from this author. Then we have Jamie Jo Wright. This one's been sitting on my shelves for a while, so I really do want to get to it. I just barely bought like 3 or 4 of her other books, and they sound really interesting, so hopefully I'll get to this year. Then we have Noelle W. I don't know how to say the last name. Ilhi? I don't know. I have no idea how to pronounce that. Then we have Vincent Ralph. I have some YA novels from him. Then I've heard this pronounced Ania and Anya, so I'm not sure, but Ania Alborn or Anya Alborn. Then I have Jennifer Hillier. Yes, I know, I've never read Jennifer Hillier. Insane. Another insane one, I have not read any Lisa Jewell books. I know, crazy, she's so popular, but I just haven't gotten to her yet. Then we have Gemma Amore. I just barely picked up this new release called The Folly. It's a short little novella, so it would be an easy, fun way to get to know this author's work. And I have C.J. Tudor, and I'm very excited to read The Burner Girls. I hear great things about it. I keep picking up books by Ali Hazelwood from Book of the Month Club, but I just haven't read any of them yet, so hopefully I'll get to it soon. Then we have Delilah S. Dawson. I have this adult one, and then I have a couple of middle grade books by this author. And then the last one is Megan Shepherd. And I didn't know if this really qualified because I have this one and then I have a trilogy by her. So because it's part of a series, I'm not sure if that really fits the brief or not, but you know, it still means I have 4 books by this author that I haven't read, so I do want to try her stuff out. So, and she has a sequel to this book, so if I like it, then I can get the sequel. So, anyways, so there you have it. Those are all the authors that I keep buying books for, but have never read from the author, and some of them are wildly popular, and I just haven't gotten there. There's just too many books. So anyways, we're gonna go ahead and draw to see who I get to read from. So that's exciting. Okay, so I have this cute little Friends mug, which is almost big enough to be a bowl, honestly, because it's huge. But I'm gonna go ahead and draw out 3 names to do a reading vlog of. And I might just keep these names in here, and then like every so often I'll do another vlog reading 3 more of these books until I've made it through the entire list. That could be fun, and then I can at least see if I like any of these authors' writing styles. John Myers, I guess, is a little bit of a cheat, I realized, because I did try to read The Vacation and I DNF'd it, but because I didn't finish it, I haven't really read him. And I come to find out that it wasn't a new release, it was like a backlist title that they re-released, and so I'm not sure it's truly indicative of his writing. So I don't know, I'm gonna give him another chance. But anyway, so let's go ahead and dive in, see what we get. Okay, looks like Mary Downing Hahn is our first pick. So the one I had picked out for her was the old Willis Place, mostly because I just love the house on the cover. I'm a sucker for that. But I think I might actually read The 13th Cat by her. I have kind of a silly reason for wanting to do that, because then I can use my real cat in my Instagram picture, and I think that would be really cute. So I know that's kind of a lame reason to start with that book, but that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, let's pick another one. Blake Crouch. So I'm going to start with Pines because I hear really good things about this one. And it sounds the most up my alley from all of his books because it has like a creepy town vibe to it. I know there's going to be some science fiction in here, but yeah, I think I'm going to start with this one. Okay, now for the last one. Okay, it looks like Noelle, whatever that last name is. I'm kind of on the fence for which one I want to read from her because I hear really good things about Run on Red, and this is the first book that I bought by this author. But then Room for Rent also sounds really good. So I don't know which one to do. I guess it'll just be a surprise next time I update you which one I chose. Okay, I'm gonna start this vlog by reading this middle grade thriller called The 13th Cat. This is the book I chose for Mary Downing Hahn. So this one I should fly through because it is middle grade, so it's only like 200 and something pages. So I'm going to be out of town for a few days. I'm going down to St. George to my parents' house. So I'm probably going to update you when I get back because I get a little bit embarrassed to film videos when other people might hear me. So I'm just gonna read what I could read down there, and then when I get back, I'll tell you what I've read. An owl or something must have been up here because there's lots of little tiny bones. There's a little owl pellet right there. Found a couple of raccoon tracks. Hey everyone, I'm back from St. George, so I'm here for my first update. So I didn't do any updating as far as being down there with the books, but I did get some reading done. So the first book I had picked up was The 13th Cat, and I actually finished this whole entire thing while I was down there. I really liked this one. I thought it was really cute and really fun. It says that it's a thriller, but I wouldn't classify this as a thriller because when I think of a thriller, I think of something that's grounded in reality. And this one definitely has some magical elements to it. So I would say it's fantasy. I wouldn't classify this as a thriller, but that's just me. It's about a little girl that goes to live with her aunt for the summer. And while she's there, she meets her neighbor, who's not a very nice lady, and she has a bunch of cats, and she starts to think that maybe she's a witch. And they kind of get into some altercations, which sends her down this path that she doesn't know how to get herself out of. And I don't want to say what that is. I want you to see it for yourself. But I would recommend this. I mean, obviously it's geared towards children, but I still enjoyed it. I still thought it was fun. And if I was a young girl, I would have been obsessed with this. But yeah, if you're a cat lover and you like witches, I think you would enjoy this book. So I would recommend this one. I don't really have much to say about it because I don't want to spoil anything for you guys, but just know that I enjoyed it. So then, while I was down there, I started Room for Rent by Noelle Ilhi. Ilhi? I don't know how to say her last name. But anyways, this is her release from last year, from 2023. And this one I would classify as a thriller. So this one is about a woman who is going to college and she starts to look around for housing and everything's too expensive or too far away from campus or different things and everything's filling up fast. But she finds this little house and it's close to campus and it's like half the price of all the other ones. And so she jumps on it. But then when she gets there, she gets kind of a surprise because the roommate is not what she thinks. And so that was not really a plot twist. I mean, it happened in the first like 30 pages, but it was a surprise. But she's surprised that the roommate is a little bit different, a little bit odd, and she doesn't know how to deal with it. She doesn't know how to handle it. And so she's trying to navigate life with this new roommate that, in her opinion, is a little bit eerie, a little bit creepy. And she has suspicions that they have been sneaking into her room at night. This one has been a lot of fun. It's been very interesting. It's been entertaining, and I haven't felt bored at all. And my favorite part about this book is it reminds me of my college days. And so that's been really fun, you know, when she talks about getting these textbooks that are really expensive and you have to get there and wait in line and hope you can get a used one. And like, I just remember those days. And I remember walking around campus and going to the library, and it's just been kind of fun to take a stroll down memory lane and kind of remember that part of my life. So I think that's been an enjoyable time for me. So this would be a great one to pick up in September if you like to read academic books during that season. So yeah, so far so good. I'm really enjoying this one. I think it's a lot of fun. Okay, so I am here for another update. I'm about halfway through Room for Rent, and I'm still enjoying the college vibes. She spends most of her time going to classes, and then she'll go to the library until it closes, just studying and doing her homework and stuff. And I can really relate to that. I was actually working while I was in college, and so I went to work, and then I had classes in the evening, and then I had to do all my homework on the weekends. So it was pretty much all I did. So anyways, so I'm enjoying that aspect of it. There is a little bit of a romance in here. I know some people don't like romances in their thrillers, but just be aware that it is there. But it's kind of one-sided. She's mostly just using him for food because she's really poor and he keeps bringing her food and sharing it with her, which I don't really know how I feel about that. I think it's kind of selfish to lead him on, but that's just my take on it. And I feel like this is painfully predictable. I mean, we'll see if I'm correct. Maybe it's a red herring, but I feel like it's not because I can see what the red herring is. And I'm pretty sure I know what the twist is. It seems very obvious to me from like a third in. I could tell you exactly what was going on and how this book's going to play out. So we'll see if I'm right. I'm going to go ahead and read a little bit more and I will update you if I have something to say. Okay. So I only got a couple of chapters farther and I have to stop again. So when I said she was using for food and it was a little bit selfish, I mean, I kind of get it. I could kind of get past it. But the chapter I just read, like, she's very, very selfish in this chapter, and it did not sit well with me. So, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. This main character is a little bit selfish, so just go in knowing that. That's really all I have to say. I probably won't update again until I finish it. So I will talk to you guys later. I finished the book Room for Rent, and I'm probably gonna give this like a 3 star, maybe 3.5. But yeah, I just because for me personally, it was like painfully obvious what exactly was going on and what the twist is. Like there wasn't a single thing about this that was surprising to me. Like I saw everything from the very beginning. So that was a little bit disappointing. Usually I can still like a book, even if I know the twist, even if I think I know what's going on. I can still enjoy a book if it's still executed well and it's still well written and interesting. I mean, I don't have to be surprised, is what I'm saying, in order to like it. That because that happens, especially for somebody that reads a lot of horror and thriller, it's bound to happen. Not every book's gonna surprise you. However, in this one, it started to feel really drawn out and really repetitive, and there was nothing else interesting happening. It was just very straightforward. And so, because of that, I still enjoyed it, but it was lessened because I knew the twist, because there wasn't like other things going on that could intrigue me or that were interesting to read about. It was just like, I'm just waiting to get to the reveal. And so it felt, again, very drawn out, very repetitive because of that. But if you're lucky enough not to see the twist and not to see what's going on, then this probably could work for you. So I did enjoy it, but again, it was not my favorite. I did enjoy the last 2 chapters. I thought they were really fun, but there was a couple minor things that kind of bugged me. Like in one chapter during the climax, the villain would grab her arm and then she would, twist out of it. And then would grab her arm and she would twist out of it. And he would grab her arm again. And this happened like 8 times in the same chapter. And I'm like, how many times are you going to grab her arm? Like, that was kind of annoying. And then, like, on page, I think it was 212, tried to make note of it. Let's see if I'm right. Yeah. So, the villain of the story is like assaulting her in her room. And she has pepper spray under her pillow, which was smart. And so she reaches under it to try and grab the pepper spray. But then she says this, her trembling hand wrapped around the familiar shape in an awkward grasp, which is the pepper spray. It wasn't as good as a phone, but she wasn't sure she could make a call successfully right now anyway. Really? If somebody's like literally grabbing your hair and is like 2 inches away, you think a phone is better than pepper spray? Like, that's so nonsensical to me. You know, as soon as you put the phone up to try and make the call, he could just grab it. And you'd have to wait for the police to come, which could take 6 minutes, you know? So, why in that situation would you rather have a phone than pepper spray? Like, just doesn't make any sense to me. But anyways, just like minor things like that, if you're being nitpicky, I mean, it's just one of those things where I just kind of roll my eyes. But anyways, I don't think this is a bad book. I really don't. But it wasn't stellar. So hence the 3 stars, maybe 3.5, maybe. So yeah, it just didn't quite work for me, which is unfortunate because I feel like a lot of times lately when I pick up books, they start out really well, but then by the end, I kind of feel dissatisfied and disappointed. And that's kind of how I felt with this book. And so that is unfortunate. But it doesn't turn me away from reading more by this author. I already own a few other of her books, or maybe all of her other books. So I am going to continue to read her stuff because this could just be an outlier. You know, maybe this one wasn't for me, but maybe her other ones would work for me. So I'm not like saying I'm off this author by any means. So I'm planning on continuing to read from this author. So those are my final thoughts for this book. I did start Pines by Blake Crouch. I'm about 45 pages in. And I don't know. I don't know if this is going to work for me. So I hear really good things about this. I've heard some stellar reviews. People seem to really love this book. But the main character is kind of driving me nuts. Like, I don't know. I don't read very many books that are from a male perspective. I don't know if that's kind of making me jaded. I don't know. But, you know, he's always constantly pointing out to people, well, I'm a special secret agent. And just like the way he thinks and the way he talks, I don't know. I'm not loving it. And then there's a lot of detail in this book. I mean, it's very short, but you know, it takes like 3 pages for him to get out of his hotel room because he's brushing his teeth and putting his shoes on, and then he puts his shirt on, and then he makes the bed or whatever. I mean, that's not an exact play by play, and I'm probably exaggerating, but that's just kind of how it feels. I guess I'm just used to reading thrillers that are a little bit more like fast paced. And this, you know, we're on page 45 and like really nothing has happened. So I don't know. And it starts out with him having amnesia. And I just don't like stories where people have amnesia and then they're trying to figure out what's going on. That's just not my favorite format. But fortunately, it seems like in the next chapter or two, he does get his memory back. So he has a few things that he can't remember, like he can't remember his home phone number in order to call home and tell his wife that he's okay because he was in a car accident and that's how he lost his memories. But the police took his wallet, they took his phone, they took pretty much all his possessions. And so when he gets to the hotel, he can't remember his phone number in order to call home. And so I'm fine with that. Like if you have like a few things that you're not certain of or can't remember, but when they have like zero memories, I don't know, I find that kind of irritating. So I'm glad that they didn't stay that way and that he does get most of his memories back. So I was relieved by that. So I don't know. I mean, the premise still sounds really cool. It sounds like he's going to be stuck in this town and he's not going to be able to get out. And I don't know. I'm kind of hoping it ends up being a little bit like Stepford Wivey, where people are a little bit strange, a little bit cryptic, a little bit, you know, put on a fake smile and pretend that everything's normal, but he's starting to figure out that things aren't as normal as they seem. That's what I'm hoping this book is. So we'll have to find out. But I think if I get to page like 100 and I'm still not vibing with it, I might unfortunately have to DNF this. But I want to keep going because I've heard really good things about it. So I'm going to keep going and we'll see what happens. I'll probably update you on page 100 maybe, or I don't know, maybe halfway. If I end up DNFing this at page 100, I will let you know. If I don't, I might just continue till I'm halfway before I do another update. So that's where I'm at with this one. Hello everyone, I'm here for my final update for Pines. And yeah, I'm gonna DNF this. Sorry, just can't do it. So the main character is just so irritating. I don't know. In the very beginning, he was in an accident, which I think I told you, and he was in the hospital, but he wasn't even discharged. He just decides to leave for no reason that I could see. He's just like, I don't want to be here. Nobody can make me stay here. I'm just gonna leave. So he leaves, but then he goes to a hotel and demands that they give him a room, even though he doesn't have any money. And so I'm like, okay, that's dumb. Why not just stay in the hospital? And then he does the same thing. He goes to a restaurant. Oh, I don't have any money, but give me food and I'll pay back. And then he has a big headache, but he refuses to go to the hospital to get it. He's just like, I'm gonna go to a pharmacy and demand they give it to me without money. Like, no, like who acts like that? And he gets very angry and irritated very quickly. He doesn't have a handle on his emotions at all, which to me, he's part of the Secret Service. And I just don't buy that he's a Secret Service agent because he doesn't act like one. You'd think that they would have a higher control upon their emotions, and he just didn't. And I don't know, I just don't buy that he's a secret agent. He just didn't act like one because he just kept making dumb decisions and getting angry at everything and everybody. And I don't know, I just could not connect to this character at all. And nothing was happening. Like the very beginning, he's just like walking around, like doing this, that, and the other. Like, I don't know. It's just not for me. I just couldn't get into it. I did skim. I got to page 100, like I told you I was going to, and decided to DNF it. But I skimmed it to like page 150, I believe. Yeah. So, and thereabout comes the first twist. And I don't know, I just didn't feel any certain way about it. I was just like, okay, cool. Like, I don't know, I wasn't like shocked. I wasn't invested. I didn't really care. And so I'm like, yeah, there's really no reason for me to continue reading this. So I did read the ending because I hear that there was a big twist at the end. And so I did want to read what the twist was. And it was interesting. I did find the big reveal at the end interesting. But even so, this book's just not for me. This is his debut novel, so I'm hoping his other books are better and that they'll work better for me because I already own them. I got them from Book of the Month, so I'm hoping that they'll be better. Some of the dialogue in this was kind of stilted and the writing was a little bit weird, and he likes to break up his paragraphs. Like there's no paragraphs. It's just like after almost every sentence, he just goes to the next line, which was kind of irritating sometimes. But yeah, it just wasn't for me. But I want you guys to go into this with the right expectations because I know some people absolutely love this book. So just know that I think, like his other books, this is a science fiction book. I thought it would be a lot more like thriller, murder, mystery, but it's not. It's pretty much straight up science fiction. So I just want you to go in with the right expectations and not be upset that it's not the genre you thought it was. So just know that this is a science fiction novel. So anyways, I'm really disappointed because I've heard great things about this, and it makes me nervous to read his other books because, to be quite frank, his other books don't really appeal to me. Like when I read the premises, I'm just like, could be good. But so many people seem to just love Blake Crouch and they just, adore his books. And so that's the reason I got them. But now I'm nervous that because this one didn't work for me, maybe the other ones aren't going to work for me either. Maybe he's just not an author for me. So I don't know. I mean, I'll still try them since I have a copy of them, but now I'm super nervous. But anyway, so that's gonna end my vlog for this video. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up to let me know. That way I can make more videos like this in the future because I can see that people enjoy them. And please hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell and you'll always be notified of new videos from me. And I'll catch you guys next time. See ya.